G'day viewers, how you doing? It's time to have a look at Experimental Railroader 2024.6.0. So this is a new experimental branch for Railroader that people can voluntarily jump into should they want to, with a bunch of new features that kind of reflect some of the features that we've seen in mods in the past, with a few new twists, so quite interesting. As usual, I read these articles to you to improve the accessibility of the information, so I'll add my own little flavour to it, as usual, and if you care to make a comment, please drop them down below. As usual, like and subscribe, please. Anyway, first up they say, thank you for your support as we continue to build and improve Railroader. We're proud of the progress we've made already and excited about the work remaining as we continue to push towards 1.0. For those of you who don't know, Railroad is an early access game and it's excellent, and I've spent a lot of time in it. Too much time. Don't ask the wife. We've been working on Railroader 2024.6.0 for the past couple of months and are happy to finally share some details on what's in it. Along with a number of smaller fixes and enhancements, there are a few significant enhancement changes that we want to focus on. So we're seeing here a locomotive tool backwards and forwards, and it's doing that by itself using the new waypoint functionality. So you can tell it where to go, and it just goes there by itself, which is kind of handy. It'll even set switches for you. Auto Engineer Waypoint Mode. This marks a huge step forward in helping you do more on your railroad. When it's waypoint mode, the Auto Engineer will navigate to the selected location or waypoint, setting switches on its way. Great for switching a yard or performing a runaround, but it can also navigate across the map. It can't negotiate meets, however, so if you have multiple trains running in the same area, you'll need to plan accordingly or use CTC. We've been loving it while testing, can't wait for you to try it out. I don't think meets would be an issue, because what you'd do is, let's say you've got something at Bryson and something at Whittier, you'd just set your meet point to be Ella and set switches accordingly and send one of them up one track and the other one down the other track, so it's not going to be all that hard. Builders' photos have been added to the Atlantic Locomotive Works equipment catalogue. These add a lot to the browsing experience and will hope it will ease your next equipment purchasing decision. I have at times bought steam engines thinking I was buying a different one and then go, oh, that's what it looks like. Okay. And then of course, because they're expensive, you keep using them, but that's life. Passengers could always be unloaded at stops that weren't their destination. In fact, if you're running a Laka branch, you're probably depending on that. But now they properly retain their origin and pay the full fare upon arrival there. Passengers also no longer have infinite patience. They must reach their destination within 4 game hours of boarding a train. Otherwise, they'll make other arrangements. Please bear this in mind when planning your passenger routes. That's not too bad, because end to end, it's about a 1.5 hour run. So that's not too bad, I suppose, because you could make that work. The only iffy one would be the Alaka branch. So for me, that might mean I need 2 passenger trains on the Alaka branch, which is a bummer because it's so short. But anyway. In connection with the above, we have removed the time multiplier feature, so time in Railroader now progresses with real time. This sets us up future plans, as well as simplifying an unnecessarily confusing aspect of the game. Remember that if you need time to pass, you can always use the wait button or the wait console command. I used to use it a lot while streaming to make the time progress quickly, but as the railway became more and more complex, I've turned it back to real time, so I won't miss that feature. We've made a number of model enhancements, including aggregate loads in hoppers and gondolas, updates to several engines, and a couple of new buildings. So they're certainly progressing along as things change. So we've got some hoppers here that are actually full, which is nice to see, rather than pretending they're full. Finally, we've made some enhancements under the hood to networking, should make busy servers run more smoothly. For a full list of changes, see below. When will Railroader 2024.6.0 be available? We're trying something new and are releasing it today on an experimental branch. We want to gather early feedback on it before releasing it to everybody. Given the nature of this experimental branch, expect frequent updates and probably crashes. As such, if you play Railroader with mods, we recommend holding off on installing mods or sticking with the public default release. That's probably with any update really. I take the mods out and then I check it out and then I put the mods back, because you don't always need to put them back. So the old map mod that I used to use, the map works that way now anyway, so you don't need it. And sometimes mods can actually blow the game up. If you're ready to try out the experimental build, use your Steam Client's Betas panel under Properties to select the experimental branch. please post bug reports in the Discord bug reports channel and make sure to use the experimental tag. This experimental branch is a bit of an experiment for us in itself, so we're evaluating how we want to run releases going forward. So I'll give this a crack. I will try it without my mods and then with. I do want to keep some of the mods. They're not all necessary, but some of them, like the engine shed that I've got at the end of the line before the Andrews Hill, that's a good one. So down at, what is it called? I've forgotten. It's down the bottom of the hill. You know the one I mean. I've forgotten, clearly. Also, the elongated logging sidings with the longer loading areas are really, really handy, so you don't have to split things up. Anyway, the Atlantic Locomotive Works is pleased to announce the catalogues have been enhanced with photographs, added Auto Engineer waypoint mode, set a waypoint, and the Auto Engineer will route itself to that location, lining switches along the way. Once AE waypoint mode is selected, hit Ctrl G to set the waypoint. Waypoint mode is great for switching moves and runarounds and can also run across the railroad. This is covering the same stuff that we have talked about. Mostly the same stuff. So the engines they've updated are the S23, the C46, I've got them, the C55, I've got them, the F71 and the SW1 models. I use the SW1s a lot. That's really changed my gameplay to put shunting locomotives just about everywhere. Added 2 new buildings, a new station at Dillsborough and a small office structure at Dillsborough and Whittier. More to follow. Diesels updated notch to power mapping more closely match EMD documentation. Diesels now produce 100% more power at notch 1. That's good. Added alert on startup to warn her if there are no enabled interchanges. Prevent disabling the last enabled interchange. Auto Engineer now posts notices for pitfalls such as handbrake applied or brake cylinders set that are outside the connected brake line. A status message is shown when charging the brake line. I kind of liked problem solving these, so having a notice about it, good for new players. Not so much fun for people who are trying to solve problems. Removed the Tom multiplayer feature. Improved reliability of clicking on objects in low frame rate situations. Don't think I ever have any of those. Fixed Nantahala. There, that's it. Nantahala. Talc and limestone T1 to export limestone, not talc. Any existing cards for T1 that contain talc will be rebay-billed to an interchange. Standardized terminology and UI on ETT on Auto Engineer or AE. Enhanced networking to better handle joining very large games. Fixed the Auto Engineer not announcing stop for switch set against. Fixed Auto Engineer passenger stop ending too soon after pause. There we go, and you can connect to their Discord if you wish. I might pop a link to that in the video description in case you want to join in there. But yeah, I personally think this is a good update. So there we go. If you've got any comments about Railroader or you'd like to see it, I do stream it fairly regularly. I try and only play it about once a month these days because it's a bit all-consuming. To play a 24-hour period in Railroader, it's about 12 to 14 hours of actual elapsed time to do it properly, so it does take a little while. And normally I might stream the thing for 3 or 4 hours, and then I've got to run another 8 hours or so just to get it finished for the day, so it's in a clean day next time I want to stream it. But anyway, that's all I've got for you at the moment. Like and subscribe if you like to, and if you've got any comments, chuck them down below, or any questions about Railroader, or you need some help with something, then just chuck it down in the comments and let me know. Alright folks, have fun. See you later. Bye.
We played a game.